One of, well, really the only benefit to injuries to the Boston Red Sox is that we get to see some of these Red Sox prospects make their major league debut. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and currently with Chris Sale out of the rotation, the really weird series with the Tampa Bay Rays pitching wise, right? You had the doubleheader and you got that makeup game on Monday. The Red Sox rotation, and to be honest with you, the bullpen is a bit depleted right now, which is the perfect opportunity for the Red Sox to see what they have in AAA and promote one of their top prospects. And that's exactly what they did. They promoted the number 14 prospect in the Red Sox system. So what we are going to do in today's videos, we're going to break down this latest promotion. We're going to talk about who the player is, what to expect at the major league level, and why this promotion was made, and how this promotion could affect the Red Sox going forward. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live on this channel tonight right around 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be checking out the Red Sox taking on the Cleveland Guardians. If you haven't been to one yet, regardless of how the Red Sox are doing, these are a ton of fun. We watch the game together, we talk Sox, I answer any of your questions. You guys can interact with the rest of the Red Seat community. It's a ton of fun, I promise. Again, that is going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. Also, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm sure some of you guys already know who we're going to be talking about in this video, but if you haven't heard the news yet already, Chris Murphy has officially been promoted to the major league level. Now, Chris Murphy is a left-handed pitcher in the Red Sox farm system who is currently ranked as the 20th highest ranked prospect according to SoxProspects.com, but he's the 14th highest ranked prospect according to MLB Pipeline. Now, this is sort of a toss-up as to which one you guys prefer to use. I usually prefer to go to SoxProspects.com. I think they have a more in-depth analysis as to each one of these prospects, but if you guys prefer MLB Pipeline, that is totally fine. Now, Chris Murphy does have a 4-pitch mix that he utilizes a lot during games. He mostly sits with the 4-seam fastball, which can top out around 96 miles an hour, but it does usually average between 91 and 94 miles an hour. He also has a changeup that has been a bit inconsistent in the past, but has gotten a little bit better over the last couple of years, and that velocity drops to right around 83 to 85 miles an hour. He has a slider that has a bit of horizontal movement that at one point was sort of a steal a strike pitch during an at-bat, but he's gotten more comfortable with that pitch and does use it a lot more often in at-bats, and that sits around 84 to 88 miles an hour. And finally, he also mixes in a curveball as well, which sits around 73 to 77 miles an hour. Now, I got all this information off of SoxProspects.com. Again, I think it's the better place to go if you want real in-depth analysis on Red Sox prospect. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys a little bit because Chris Murphy has been struggling really hard at the AAA level so far this year. He currently has a 7.71 ERA in 9 starts so far for the Worcester Woo Sox this year. However, he also has a 5.56 FIP, which could indicate that he's pitching a bit better than his ERA leads on. There could have been a bit of unluckiness so far this year for Chris Murphy, but either way, between 7.71 and 5.56, he has struggled to get batters out so far this year as a starting pitcher. Now, one of the biggest reasons for this is Chris Murphy's walk rate, which has been a problem so far this year. His walks per 9 currently is the highest it has been in his entire career so far. It is currently sitting at 5.67 walks per 9, which is something we actually saw a bit of when he was with the Red Sox during spring training, right? We sort of saw glimpses of him absolutely dominating batters, and then he would simply just lose his command and not be able to find the strike zone, which is the main reason why he spent so much time in AAA this year. He also has a 9.53 K per 9, which is actually pretty good for someone with a really high ERA, but he has a staggering 1.36 home runs per 9, which means he's given up more than 1 home run per game, which isn't exactly a fantastic stat for someone coming up to the big league level. So yeah, he has struggled so far as a starter in the AAA level for the Red Sox so far this year, but one thing that's really interesting about Murphy this year is that after 9 starts that did not go very well, he did make his first appearance out of the bullpen where he looked much better. He ended up going 3 innings out of the bullpen, allowing just 1 hit, no earned runs, and struck out 3, but more importantly, did not walk a singular batter. Now, this bullpen appearance actually occurred occurred just a couple of days before he got the call up to the major league level, which could indicate where Chris Murphy's going to be for the Red Sox while he's up here at the majors. So while Chris Murphy hasn't really impressed all that much at the AAA level so far this year, there is still some intriguing upside as to what Chris Murphy could be for this Red Sox team. The big question here is why? Why now? Why after Chris Murphy's been struggling? And what role do the Red Sox expect Chris Murphy to be in at the major league level? I think really when it boils down to it, the biggest reason why Chris Murphy got the promotion when he did was a numbers game, right? There were a couple of reasons why Chris Murphy could have been added. Chris Murphy is on the 40-man roster, meaning that you didn't have to DFA anyone to fit him on this team. All you had to do was simply option Caleb, or you had that depleted bullpen and rotation like we talked about with the weird Tampa Bay series and with Chris Sale going on to the IL. By the way, no new information on Chris Sale. Looks like we won't know anything more about Chris Sale's injury until early next week, so Chris Sale's going to be out for a little bit. On top of that too, Chris Murphy was fully rested and ready to go. So there could have been a couple of different reasons why Chris Murphy got the call when he got the call, but I really think it just ends up boiling down to a simple numbers game. Chris Murphy was available and we needed bodies, right? That's pretty much as simple as it gets. The more interesting part of this promotion is how are the Red Sox going to use him? He is available out of the bullpen for the next couple of days, but the question is in what role? In my opinion, there are two real possibilities for Chris Murphy over this Cleveland Guardians series to make his official major league debut. The first is in a bit of a long relief role. Cutter Crawford's getting the start tonight for the Red Sox, and as we know, Cutter Crawford's been coming out of the bullpen for most of this season, right? He's not really stretched out to go 6, 7, 8 innings, so more realistically, Cutter Crawford will probably be in there for 3, 4, or 5 innings like we saw when he started against Tampa Bay. That would mean Chris Murphy could come out of the pen and replace Cutter Crawford and be that sort of long relief option to get them to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. That could be the first option for Chris Murphy. The second option is that they use him as a sort of spot starter or opener type role where he goes into the last game of this series and he goes again like Cutter Crawford, maybe 3, maybe 4 innings, and then you move it on to your bullpen where you replace him with either Nick Pivetta, Corey Kluber, or Josh Winkowski. Now, in my opinion, I think the best use for Chris Murphy is in that long relief role. If Cutter Crawford can't go super long into today's game, you don't really want to waste Corey Kluber or Nick Pivetta because you're probably going to need that start from them on Thursday. So having Chris Murphy coming out of the bullpen in that long relief role sort of bridges the gap between Cutter Crawford and Nick Pivetta and Corey Kluber. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Chris Murphy may be better suited for the bullpen. I don't know if it's a mental thing with him where he gets out there as a starter and just has a bunch of different problems, but I and people who know a lot more about Chris Murphy than I do agree that, hey, he's probably a better suit for the bullpen. So in my opinion, we'll probably see him tonight make his major league debut, which is a really, really cool thing. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about baseball is watching guys who have worked super, super hard to get to the major league level, step onto the mound or step into the batter's box for the first time. It's got to be an absolutely surreal feeling. Now, in terms of impact for the Red Sox, I think this could actually be a bit more impactful than we initially thought, right? I think initially the idea was, okay, we'll have him come up for 1 or 2 games and then send him back down and he can keep working on stuff. Well, if he impresses, especially out of a bullpen role in these couple of opportunities that he's probably going to get before he gets sent down, he could end up in the bullpen for a little bit longer, right? The Red Sox don't really have a ton of really reliable lefty options, and if Chris Murphy can be a reliable lefty option, Red Sox front office might say, hey, let's see what we got in this Chris Murphy guy for a little bit, at least until Joely Rodriguez is healthy or Richard Blyer figures out whatever the hell's going on with Richard Blyer, right? So there could be a bit of room for Chris Murphy to make a legitimate impact on this Red Sox team outside of just being, hey, we need bodies and you're fully healthy and ready to go. At the end of the day, again, this is a really cool moment for someone who's worked really hard to get to the major league level, and I'm super happy for Chris as a person. And at the end of the day, if he does impress, great, right? That's awesome. Maybe we have another option of a guy who can sort of float between AAA and the major league levels for the rest of the year. If he doesn't impress and he does struggle, okay, it's going to suck because it may hurt our chances to win this series, but at the end of the day, you just send him down, you bring Ryan Sheriff up until the other 2 guys are ready. So I think this is sort of of a no harm, no foul type promotion. We probably won't see Chris Murphy in a legitimate role for the rest of the season, again, unless he really impresses in the couple of opportunities that he's probably going to get over the next couple of days. But that's just my opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the latest Red Sox promotion? What do you think about Chris Murphy? What do you think about his role on the team? And how big do you think of an impact he's going to have on the Boston Red Sox? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox latest prospect promotion in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Also, don't forget that we are going to be live on this channel at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight to watch the Red Sox take on the Guardians. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.